like champagne and caviar. You're such a treat, like cherries to believe. You're oh so sweet. You whet my appetite each time we meet. Oh, James, it's true. I get hungry when I think of you.
Aren't they just lovely? And I really like those. They're such different pods. They're called black kangaroo pods. Where they get from, I don't know. But today we thought we got different flowers, we have different dinner, right? And we're going to do things that are simple and easy and quick and different. They're not like what you normally do. So we're going to start off with some avocados, because avocados were cheap, and that's why we thought we'd do this, because they're cheap, all right? Now, when you buy avocados, don't, for goodness sake, go around squeezing them, because you watch people squeeze them and squeeze them and squeeze them, and then you finally watch some, you know, they're not right, but they get soft and bruised, and then somebody sticks their finger right in. That's useless. You don't want to do that. What you do is find an avocado and get it by weight, how nice it feels. Nice. There's the ripest one. Okay, now we're going to make a nice avocado soup. A very quick and wonderfully refreshing soup. All right, take out the, all right, this is how you get the pit out. There, that's the best way to do that. Scrape it all out into a blender, or a whizzer, or whatever you happen to have. Just scrape it all out, and you work fast, because then it won't get completely discolored. All right, shove it in there. We'll put another one in there. We'll make a lot of soup. All right, there. Get the pit out of it. Scrape it all out, and just bung it into the blender or the food processor or whatever you want to call it. And then put in some, where's a nice lemon? Here's a nice lemon. Let's get that off there. Put in some lemon juice. Get the pips out of it, right? You don't want the pits in there. Little tiny bit of cayenne pepper, these grains. Or you can put it in out of the bottle. It doesn't really matter, all right? And then some buttermilk. Now, about a cup of buttermilk. Buttermilk's great stuff. I learned to drink this when I was gambling down in Las Vegas. I had a scheme to make $1 million, and I figured they were going to get me drunk, so I wouldn't make $1 million, and I was going to drink buttermilk. And they brought me buttermilk and still didn't make $1 million. There. Now, whiz it all together. First, it's still not whizzed, so we'll leave it. And we'll put a little bit of salt in there. Salt, as soon as it's smooth. And if it's too thick, because some avocados are fat, if it's too thick, then all you got to do is put a little bit of water in there. Now, that is a great soup, believe it or not. A little bit of salt, a little bit of avocado, a little bit of buttermilk. And it's a wonderful thing on a cold table when you're going to have a nice cold dinner. And that's very, very pretty. If you want to give it a little fillip, then you just put a little slug red pepper in the middle. And that's how you work with avocados. I mean, you want to make guacamole. Everybody knows about guacamole. Everybody's scared of it. You just grab yourself an avocado, and you get yourself a bowl. I mean, this, whoop, don't want to do that. And you just scrape out the avocado quickly. Get another one, scrape it out really quick. I mean, you can do this if you're in a real hurry. Learn to cook in a hurry. It's good for you. Cut a tomato like that. Scrape out the seeds with a spoon and just put them on the counter for now. You don't have to worry. Scrape them out like that. Chop them up fine. cilantro and chop that up. Now, if you put everything in the same place, keep chopping, you get more bang for your buck, because every time the knife goes through, it chops something else. Okay? That's what we've got to do. And put that in there. And some people put a little bit of onion juice in. I put a little bit of lemon juice in there. And then you put in some good hot sauce. And you mash it up. You just mash it up and mix it together. You don't have to. See, when they make this stuff, where it grows down in Brazil, they don't have, everybody hasn't got one of these things. Some of them haven't got a fork. They haven't got any tools, and they eat slices of avocado. Just slices of it. I'd love to do that. With, you go into a bar down in Brazil, and they bring you brandy, and they bring you a sliced avocado with coffee beans to go with it, and you drink the brandy, eat the avocado. That's how you do it. This one, you eat like that. Good stuff.
P.O. Box 86630, North Vancouver, B.C., V7L4L2, or charge by phone 1-800-561-9966.
Now, this is a really different dish. This is something really different. We're going to cook with marmalade, okay? We're going to do chicken with marmalade. Now, if I told you that this dish was a special thing of poulet aux oranges, somebody might think it was different, but what we're going to play with is just straight marmalade and see what happens. Now, we'll turn on the fire, and we'll get a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter, and a little bit of chicken. See, they make marmalade. Sometimes they put whiskey in it. But we are going to do marmalade and whiskey. And what we've got in there is orange peels and all those flavors. And we've actually got an orange sauce, but it's in a jar, and it's called marmalade. And nobody thinks that you should cook with it, but you just try this. So what I'm going to do here, hot pan, about a tablespoonful of oil, and to make it taste wonderful, and because I like it, a bit of butter. Now, the butter will not burn at such a quick rate if you've got oil in there, if you mix the two. So here we go. Very, very quickly. Take our pieces of chicken, and let's I'll wash the board afterwards, all right? We'll just cut the chicken up into pieces that are, see how things come apart naturally. That's how they're made. And don't be scared to get hold of stuff and just pull it apart where it looks as though you are doing this. This is how they learn to do appendicitis operations. You just find out what comes apart, okay? There's our butter and our oil, and in goes the chicken. Right. Chicken, quickly, and the heat up high. All right, that's enough in there. We just let that go. I'll put that on one side for a minute. Cut up an onion, because I want an onion cut up very small, and I got lots of time to do it because the chicken is going to have to cook now. So we'll just cut this very thin one way, and then we'll cut it very thin another way. See, I got a really sharp knife, so it all goes together, and then I'm going to turn it round like that, and we've got very, very, very fine cut onion. Okay, now, quickly, the chicken breast turned over. The chicken breast turned over there. Right. Now, the big deal, right? The onion goes in, like that. The pepper goes in. And a little bit of salt goes in there. Now, the flavor, a little bit of whiskey. And if you want to flame it, we'll flame it. Just stand there flaming it. You know, I'm cooking supper, and you can look terribly casual about the whole thing. talk about the weather and talk about your operation. I'll show you my operation one day, but not today, all right? And flambe that, and while it's being flambéed, we're going to make the sauce, and we get a great big, see, that's a dessert spoonful of marmalade. Let's put in 2 dessert spoonfuls of marmalade, right? Now, I keep telling you, this is going to make a sauce. See how it's going to melt? All right? The marmalade and the onion and all that nice stuff. Turn that fire down a little bit. We want some lemon juice. And if you haven't got a lemon, because we put orange marmalade in there, you can use an orange. Doesn't matter. So squeeze in the orange juice. There. And we will have this, and a little tiny bit of hot cayenne pepper, just to give it a bite, give it a zip. You know how we have contrast in things? Well, I like this when it's good and spicy, and you've suddenly got something that nobody will know how you made this sauce unless you tell them. And I suppose it's all right to tell them. I have a grandson. I show him magic tricks. I go and buy him a magic trick. I show him how to do it, and I say, you're not to tell anybody, you're not to tell anybody. He goes and he does the magic, and he shows them, and then he says, would you like to know how it's done? He's the worst magician in the world, but he tells them. So if you want to tell people, tell them. But if you don't want to tell them, don't tell them. But in the meantime, you have made something quite wonderful. Look at all those little bits of orange peel in there. And if you'd had to do that, if you'd read a recipe which said, take an orange, peel it, cut out the pith, go on and on and on, candy it, caramelize it. You got it all in there, so why not use it? That's what I like to do. There we are. Whiskey, chicken, oranges. It's called chicken with oranges and whiskey and marmalade. That's what it is. Lovely. Hi, and welcome back. We're going to do, this is a different dinner, okay? And we're going to do a slightly different kind of vegetable. Now, lima beans, I know kids that have run miles rather than eat a lima bean. And sometimes it's understandable because they can get boring. But what I'm going to do here is something slightly different. I'm going to take a fry pan, and this time, I'm not going to let the pan get hot before I put the butter, oil, whatever. You can do this with oil if you want to, but I like the butter because I tell you it tastes nice. And just going to warm it up and then turn the heat down to medium. And then dump in a packet of frozen lima beans. Now, they are frozen, okay? We haven't mucked about with them. They are as hard as hard. And just crank up fire and stir them around in the butter for just a couple of minutes. Now, while they're being stirred around in the butter, we want to give them a little bit of flavor, okay? So we put in some tarragon. Tarragon's sweet herb, and you just crunch it up in your hand so all the flavors come out of it. Smells wonderful, all right? Stir it around a little bit, and just let all the butter coat the beans. A little tiny bit of salt and a little tiny bit of pepper. A bit more pepper, because I like pepper. All right? Now we're going to make it look pretty. Going to make it, this is how you do it in restaurants. They turn it over and over. You can learn to do this if you want to. It's much better than stirring it. It's nice. Now, carrots. All right, we've got tarragon in there to give it sweetness. Now, if you want, we're going to put carrot strips in there. You can do it like this. If you've want to stand there being patient, and that's just fine because they look nice. And we're cutting these strips really, really thin, and thinner than you can do it with a knife, because we want them to cook very, very quickly. In fact, we want them hardly to cook at all. We want them to be crunchy. A lot of contrast. We want these nice buttery lima beans, which are pepper and tarragon and stuff on the little butter. All right, and then we want these carrot strips to go in. Now, if you don't want to do that, then you just get a carrot and do that. But see, there's always a drawback because you can make nice long strips with a peeler and with a, see, make nice long wide strips like noodles, and with this one you get little tiny strips. And it just depends on the effect you want to have. I like to do this because they look so nice. They look like noodles in there, and that's pretty much the effect we're going to have. You'll find that the carrot does better. You can get more pressure on the peeler if you lay it down flat. And that's how you do it. Right, now, lima beans, quickly in the butter. All right. Stir in the carrots. This didn't take long at all. Just stir in the carrots till they look pretty. And it looks like pasta. There it is. And pretty looking dish. This really pretty. Once you've got everything to touch everything else, then you stuck the carrot shreds into the middle. And let's put the rest in, shall we? Just to make it look a wonderful color. Look at that. That really starts to get exciting. That's what you do with dinner. You get things exciting. And then you take a nice bowl and you stir in to the pan a couple of tablespoonfuls of yogurt. Now this is see, all of a sudden, you didn't realize this, but we're making a Middle Eastern dish. This is a very Middle Eastern dish which tastes nice. And if you want to funk it up with a little bit of cumin, with a little bit of curry powder, a little bit of hot pepper, that's just fine too. But what you're doing at the moment is just cooking it all quickly together with a minimum of cooking. Right? Now, let's just have a look at it. There. There. Now we've done that, and we've got basic lima beans and carrot sticks. What more can you want? Now, I told you we were going to have a different dinner, and we are indeed. This is dessert, and you know what it is? It's fried bread, okay? Fried bread for dessert. But just watch what we're going to do with it, okay? We got some stale bread, and we cut it up into little fingers, and we're just frying it until it goes crisp. That's what we're doing. I mean, there's no secret to it. If you want to make it into odd shapes where you cut it with long and skinny, and you throw the crusts away, and you can leave it like that, and you can cut the ends off and have them looking diagonal, or you can do all kinds of things with it. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than going down and buying fancy rusks and stuff. And what we're going to make is a sort of almost charlotte. Now, this is a fancy dessert. And what we're going to do while that bread is cooking is dump a packet of frozen raspberries into the whizzer. Just whiz them up, frozen as they are, all right? Because what's going to happen to them, they're going to turn into a raspberry sauce, but it's going to be a cold raspberry sauce, all right? I mean, if you've got a recipe that said, get all the raspberries and then do this and then put them back and freeze them and keep stirring them, but we're not going to do that. So here we are with frozen pureed raspberries. Right. Now, just put that there for a minute. And what we do with this bread that we've got frying, let's put a bit more in there. Let's chuck that out of here because it's nice and crisp now. Put a bit, let's turn the fire up a little bit more. A bit more butter in. And just fry. You can't do this in bacon fat because it's dessert, okay? But you're just going to put a little bit of bread in there. Toss it around quickly in the butter so that all the sides get coated. And then it won't take up such a lot of butter. It will cook. You know, later on when you turn it over, it will be pre-buttered. All right. So there we are. A little bit of extra. That'll do for that. Just to sit there and simmer. Now, this is how you make this dessert. Right, see, these are nice and crisp. Now, what we do, put some ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and put it in the middle of the plate. If you want to put 2 scoops, then put 2 scoops. Like that. 3 scoops, okay. That's what you want, 3 scoops. All right. Now, put that. Look, put fingers of crispy bread all over it, like that. And then you take the raspberry syrup and you sort of dab it around a little bit. Now, there is nothing at all wrong with that for a perfectly wonderful looking dessert. Just look at that. What more can you want? A different dinner. When you've got a recipe that wants you to chop 3 or 4 things, don't chop them all separately. Put them all in the same place, do them all at once. Bang, 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 bang. Save you a lot of time. Well, there we are. I told you, a different dinner, and just look what we did. We made that great soup out of an avocado, got an appetizer, guacamole out of the same avocado, and that wonderful chicken, whiskey, orange marmalade. Lovely, lovely thing. We got a great and different salad, a dessert, salad, and then we got a dessert as well. We got a dessert, this fake charlotte. Now, that tastes lovely. Crunchy ice cream, raspberries. It's the urban peasant.